Welcome to the Sarah Scoop Show. It's time to get the scoop with Sarah. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sarah Scoop Show Instagram Live edition. Tonight I'm going to be joined by Tammy and Ed. So as soon as they are available, I will add them. Tammy and Ed were a duo on The Circle, the mother-son team, and they are going to be so fun to talk to. There's Tammy right there. Hi.
Hi.
You okay?
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you guys for joining me. So everybody, welcome Tammy and Ed, who we saw on The Circle. First of all, let's start with that. How did you guys decide to go on The Circle as mother and son?
Yes. Funny story. Kind of happened a little by accident, a little by like, what the hell, will this work? So I know I went in for the interview. I told some funny stories about her. They said, oh my God, we got to meet your mom. Can she come in for the interview?
Right. So I went down though thinking I'm talking about Eddie. And so then they mic me up and record me and they're like, oh my gosh, like we like you and we like Eddie, but we can't have two Easons on the team. So I'm like, oh, just put Eddie on. Like, I don't need to be on TV. And then I kind of just blurted out. I said, unless Netflix will put us on as a team. And they're like, wait, we don't know. We should try and pitch it. So they went back to the execs, and like a day later, we got to go on as a team.
How about that?
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like you guys had a really great relationship on the show. Was there any choices that either of you made that caused some controversy that we didn't see?
Yeah, her cooking. It's terrible. She burned everything that she cooked. And I said, let me cook these meatballs because I know you're going to burn them. And she said, no, I got it. And she's cooking them, and then a challenge came up, and then she ended up burning them. And I was like, I told you you were going to do that. And I said it like I was looking at the camera. I was like, take note. I said this. They didn't put it on, but I thought that would have been funny.
Yeah. Thanks, Ed. You want to know some pet peeves about him?
Of course. We want to hear it all.
Well, the cameras were everywhere. The microphones were everywhere. Like, even in the bathroom, you'll see some shots in the bathroom. So anytime you had to use the restrooms, you had to tell the producers, like, we got to go, put the cameras up. Ed must have walked in like 8 times, forgot. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to see Ed's ass on like TV. But I'm sure they cut that out or bleeped it out. But kept forgetting to tell the producers.
You guys both seemed pretty comfortable, like, in the show. Was it weird to have those cameras, like you were mentioning, just all around you all the time?
I guess for like the first like couple minutes, you think about it and you're like, I gotta act right. Like, I'm on camera. But then like you forget about it really fast and just go about like what you normally do.
Yeah, they were like 24/7. They did turn them off only to go to bed. And then like the voice of God would wake you up every morning, like put your mic back on and just roll the whole day.
And as we're chatting, I know people are commenting, like somebody says, I wish you guys would have won. And before we started this, I had put up on my story some questions. And one thing that people kept asking is, like, what do you think you could have done different to win? Or is there anything you would have changed so that you could have won?
Well, I think obviously we love everybody on the crew. It was a great crew. We're all still friends. We chat every day. We went out to Miami, some of us. I wish we would have maybe gone in the game a little earlier. We were the last phone call to go in like episode number 8 or 9. And so I get it. They had a bond. They had each other's back, you know. So it was really hard to break into that little clique, you know what I mean? But I think the days we were there, we made an impact. You think so, Ed?
That's what I was thinking too. I thought we were doing all right. And then I watched the show and I was like, oh man, we were kind of kicking ass. Like, if only we would have been like maybe a day or two sooner, like maybe it could have been a little bit different. But I think just the way it went, coming in last competitor, was hard to make up that lost ground, you know?
Yeah, and I actually talked to Sammy too, and she was filling us in on like, there's a lot that happened in a short amount of time. Like, you guys filmed this because you guys were saying just a couple days.
Yeah.
Right.
It happened quick. We're moving, a lot going on.
So what was your favorite part of the whole experience?
Meeting everybody. Everybody who we worked with was like awesome. The entire cast, like, met some of our like best friends for life. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world.
I agree. You know what? Everybody from the camera guy, producing, the crew, like, I feel like we have a new circle of friends and family. You know, like I got their back. I'll support them. You know, a new circle of family.
You're clever with those play on words there. So it did seem like everyone was so happy. Like as a viewer watching this show, it was a like competition show, but it was like everyone had each other's backs. I was just gonna say, like, why do you think that like the circle was such a positive show when it was a competition?
You know what? It was a competition, but you got to know each other through those messages back and forth. You know, obviously we could get a gut feeling if we felt like a catfisher, like Ed went with his gut a couple times. But I really thought with some of the questions and some of the similarities, like Sammy was from Delco. She went to Cabrini. And Conshohocken, like nobody heard of Conshohocken, but now it's definitely on the map. So, you know, we got to know her pretty well just from those similarities.
I think, too, they just picked really genuine people. There wasn't anybody bad. Like, there's nothing bad to say about, like, everybody was, like, awesome in their own way. And I feel like we were able to see that even though we couldn't see them. Like, you were able to feel it through, like, the screen interacting.
Yeah, it was like even the catfish, like people weren't even mad. They were like, "Oh, they're still nice."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it. Everybody was really genuine and really cared about each other. I don't think anybody had a mean streak in them, you know.
And Tammy, you touched on this a little bit, but how do you think the whole experience made you like realize how relationships or conversations can be built without actually meeting someone, just communicating online?
Yeah, that was new for me. You know, obviously we were playing as Ed, you know what I mean? So he's got a bigger social media presence, obviously, than I do. But, and, you know, being one of the oldest players, that was a little tough. So we had to, like, use Eddie's, like, slang words to communicate with Sammy when he was flirting with all the girls and stuff. So that's, like, I think you might have seen me on film. Like, is that how you really talk to girls? Like, I didn't know, you know, how he really talked to women, but that's how he flirts.
How was that, having your mom help you flirt?
That was kind of weird because she didn't really give good ideas. Whatever she would say, I'm like, you sound like a 50-year-old lady. Like, you can't say that when you're trying to, like, chat up the chicks, you know? Like, it doesn't.
So did you guys, I know that, you know, you said you weren't there as long as you would have liked, but did you have a favorite part of your time there?
If I had to pick one favorite part, I would say the finale.
Yeah.
The finale was, like, badass. It was a big old, like, party. That's where we finally got to meet everybody. Like, that was an awesome thing.
I mean, we were out of the country, even though we were actually out of the country for like a month. We stayed in another location until we got that call to say, hey, you're in the show. You got an hour. Let's go. So it was a great experience. I mean, how many people can say, hey, you and your son were on TV. You filmed in another country. You know, everything was kind of paid by the casting and production. So it was a great experience. Living together 24/7. Like, I loved it, mother-son bond. Now, Eddie obviously wanted a break. What's your take on that?
Yeah, that was too much. Too much for me.
Do you guys feel like you had an advantage having each other, though? Because everyone else was just by themselves.
I do. Like, I tell everybody when we watched the show, we didn't see it till it aired. Like, they were, like, talking to the wall, talking to their teddy bears. You saw, you know, Seaburn with his bear, talking to, you know, whatever stuffed animals. So I think at least we could talk to each other and bounce ideas when we were like voting and take notes and stuff like that. So we wouldn't go like, you know, batshit crazy by yourself. Cause it's a long time to be away. Like, we didn't have our phones. We didn't have our computers. Like, there was no outside communication at all.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something like as viewers, we see, you know, the show and we're like, oh, they probably stopped filming and did whatever. But isn't it more like you're just filmed nonstop and you don't know what's going to end up on TV?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we said or, you know, that didn't get put in. So Ed was cursing a few times, but, you know, they chose what they wanted to put in. But, yeah, like, we couldn't contact our family and friends because no one knew where we were unless it was like an emergency. So when we say no social media, like, none.
Yeah. So I've seen that, you know, the Circle 2 is coming out. Like, what advice do you guys have for people that want to be on this show?
Big personality. Don't hold anything back in your interviews or nothing. Like, whoever you are, be 110% you. Like, just go all in. and give them you, you know?
Yeah, I agree. You know what? People want you to be your true, authentic self. Like we played, like we're very cut and dry. You know where we stand on things. You know what I mean? And we just played ourselves.
So would you guys, if you were to play again, would you be yourselves or would you be a catfish?
I guess I'd have to be a catfish because now people would know Ed from the circle.
Okay, if you hadn't been yourselves to start with, like going back, do you think that it's better? I mean, it's kind of crazy because in the end, it seemed, I mean, there really wasn't many catfish left.
Right. I think it's harder to play as a catfish. I mean, Seaburn, he definitely did a great job playing Rebecca. But, you know, when they were asking him some womanly questions and things like that, that us up. But I think it'd be harder to play as a catfish, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's too easy to slip up or for people to catch you. I would have definitely just been myself if I would do it again, you know?
Yeah, if you were to do it again. So then what do you hope to see in like season 2? Is there anything that you guys were looking forward to happening that didn't happen, or like a repeat of any of the competitions that you thought were really cool?
You did pretty good with the drawing competition. Did you like that? Or
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna have planned for season 2. I feel like we didn't know anything at all what was coming. Every challenge and game like they threw, like it comes out of nowhere. So it's hard to say like what we're gonna expect or like, you know, anything like that. It's tough to say.
Yeah, like you saw, like we were in the gym. We did get out for an hour a day just to go to the gym, our condo. Like that was it. So you'll see me biking, you know, for like an hour while they're like, okay, now there's a competition. And I know Ed's lifting weights, I'm biking. You just never knew when they were going to say alert. Like that alert just got us.
You guys were practicing quarantine before quarantine.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So go ahead. Sorry, Tammy.
Well, at least us in quarantine now, like you guys, you have Facebook, you have your social media, you have your phones, you have your TV. Like I read a book, Ed was singing. Like there's a lot of time Ed would just like sing or play with his remote control car because we couldn't get on Facebook or Instagram or TV. We didn't have a TV. We didn't even have a clock. When we were hungry, we would eat. Eddie's like, I think it's dinner time. I think it's time to go to bed when it got dark. We had no concept of time.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I didn't, no clock even.
No clock.
There were some nights I feel like they kept us up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. We just had no concept of time.
Yeah, and so you were in an apartment where with the other contestants, but you never saw them.
No.
No, we were all in the same big building somewhere, but like when we had to go to the gym, like we would be like earmuffed, blindfolded, and you know they're on walkie-talkies. Like Tammy and Ed are going to the gym, so clear the hallway. Like we never bumped into anybody. We couldn't hear anybody or see anybody.
And so someone commented a bit ago that said Tammy and Ed need their own show. Will we be seeing you guys back on TV anytime?
I hope so. That'd be badass. I would definitely do another show.
Yeah, I think a lot of people said Ed would be good on like Big Brother or the MTV Challenge. Maybe the MTV Challenge because he's more like physical workout and stuff. But who knows? You know, if somebody calls him up, I think we'd do it again.
So what's life been like after going on the circle? Because like you guys mentioned, I mean, this crazy experience.
I just jumped right back into normal life. I went back to my job, back to hanging out with my friends. Nothing really changed.
Yeah.
Just a couple times at the bars, people would say, "You're Ed from the circle." And I'd be like, "Hey, that's me." You know?
Yeah. You know, we got recognized a little bit. I was known like, "Hey, there's the circle mom. Hey, are you the circle mom?" So, you know, that was kind of cool. And then they'll be like, "Oh, what's Eddie's IG? Can you DM him? I'm out with the circle mom." I'm like, "All right, do you want me or Ed?" But the biggest thing I think is a lot of girls and guys, if Ed didn't answer his DM, like they would come to mom. And they're like, "Oh, like Eddie's so cute. Can you get us a date? He's not messaging me back." And I'm like, "Yo, get in line. Like Ed, answer your own DMs." Like they're trying to get through mom to get a date, but you know,
your mom's still doing your messaging for you.
I know. Too much.
Well, is there anything else you guys can tell us about just your experience or, you know, where you stand now? Oh, one thing people kept asking is, are you all still in contact with the other castmates? Are you still friends?
Oh, yeah. We got a big group chat. We all talk almost every day, pretty much. Everybody's always chatting in there with, you know, everyone. Even sometimes, like the other week, I was on like an hour call with Seaburn. We were just chatting it up. I called Shuby the other night. I was out at this party, and people were like, "Oh my God, you're Ed! Like, do you know Shuby too? He's my favorite." I'm like, "Yeah, let me give him a call." I'm like, "Yeah, dog, I got some fans here for you." So we we're talking all the time.
Yeah, and we wanted to, like, some of us got a trip to go down to Miami. Like, we got to see Sammy, Miranda, Sean, Antonio went. So that was even Karen from New York. Like, so that was so much fun spending 3 or 4 days in Miami with them. That's another show. But we all wanted to get together, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
Like, Antonio and Seaburn were going to come stay with me. I told everybody, welcome at my house. But then, like, that week, mid-March, like, COVID hit, so we just had to cancel everything.
Yeah, well, that's cool to see, like, that the bond is still going strong. Tammy, one other thing. So you mentioned earlier that you were the, like, older contestant on the show. Do you think that the show needs more older contestants for the future?
I do. Like, we never heard of The Circle. Once they found Eddie on Instagram and came after, like, we went back to watch the show because it was in the UK. And then I saw that there was the UK version had some older people in their 40s and 50s, but the US went with all, I think, like 32 and under, you know? So I'm hoping maybe in season 2, maybe they'll open it up. Like, look at Tim, is it Professor Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the UK season 2. I mean, he's a big hit. So hopefully they'll get some older contestants.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you guys have been great. Thank you so much for talking, sharing about your experience on The Circle. If people do want to connect with you, is it best to just reach out on Instagram?
Yeah.
Instagram. I mean, I got like Twitter and stuff for other. Really, all I check is Instagram. That's the only one I keep up with.
Yeah. And if you want to date, email Ed, not me.
We'll just put Ed's phone number up here on this chat so everyone can.
Perfect.
Well, you guys are a pleasure. I love that you guys have such a strong relationship. Tammy, as a mother, how do you feel? Like, how have you and Ed been able to have this great relationship?
You know, Ed's easygoing. Obviously, he makes me laugh, you know. So we get it. You know, it's really good to have that mother-son bond. I have 2 amazing sons. Mitchell's out in Miami. Well, you never thought that your sons could be like your best friends, but because you always think the mom and daughter bond, because I'm very close to my mom, but I'm very, very blessed. I say it all the time to have 2 sons that are really supportive.
Well, you guys have been awesome. See you hopefully on another show soon.
Oh yeah, thank you for having us. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Hey, you too.
Thank you for watching The Sarah Scoop Show. Head to sarahscoop.com for more.